This is the Scalper's Gold update for May 31st. Just to kind of update you on the daily, weekly, and monthly time frames here. This is the continuous contract, the YM daily chart here. This again is this was our long trade in the YM at 69.68. Our first, second, and third stops there. Finally to get stopped out at 82.29 up here. That trade went for 1,261 points from entry to stop there. And then, once you have the big move, then we kind of get into this situation what we talked about last week. Now we're in this situation. We've got the 50-day rising, the 200-day coming down, and as that happens, this starts to get squeezed in here. We're trading in a range between this 85, 8600. I think we've been as high as 85.75 and 8200 here as support. We're in this channel here, and you can see this is kind of chopping now. Obviously, we will break out of this at some point. Maybe this week. We'll see. We've got a potential market. We've got a market structure low here with a long trigger up here. This is where we've opened here the Globex Sunday night, and that long side trigger on the daily will be 85.57. So if we get to 85.57 on Monday, at some point either overnight here or during the day, that would trigger that long, and we'd have at least maybe a potential test of the 8600 area, which would be that next resistance, and then here, maybe we can get to the 200-day eventually and test that. If that fails to trigger this market structure low, well, then we're going to have this daily market structure high form. And again, this may just be more choppiness, but then wherever this finished the low, the low of this candle here, we'd have a short signal. If that triggered short, then maybe we can come down eventually and test here if they break out on those. But there's a potential here for a breakout. We'll see if it can trigger or not, and that would be again up at that 85.57 level. So again, we're in this channel. We'll see if we get a break, and if so, which way. Usually the market structure will tell you, which way the break is going to be if it triggers. Let's check the weekly, because the weekly we've got a setup that is a sign of market uncertainty. Again, this is the weekly. You can see you had a weekly short there back at 11,000. Actually, it goes all the way back to 12,436. The Scalper's Gold short there. And you can see our first stop was here. That wasn't hit. Actually got another short signal at 11,038. Looks like you may have got stopped here. This 9,027 just came up and looks like it just came up and tagged that. Anyway, so that a nice trade there. Probably a 33,400 points or so on the weekly, and then the weekly had gone long here at 78.82, and we're up around 84.79. Let's see. So we'll see what happens with this weekly. Now, in the weekly, we have this kind of showdown candle set up here, where you've got this low, lower low, higher low. It kind of looks like this, but you also have this market structure high to it, which is a high, a higher high, and a lower high. So we've got, in a sense, we've kind of got two triggers. You've got a weekly long trigger here and a weekly short trigger here. So just because the trigger is long, they still got to take out the high of this bar here, and if they trigger short, they still have to take out the low of this bar. If they do, then maybe that's the direction the break goes. We'll have to see. You obviously got support down here, the 13S, and then we saw the resistance on the daily. Here's your weekly 200 period. I'm sorry, 50. This is the 50 period in this 91.30 and then we'll see on the, just take a look at the monthly. The monthly is still long off that market structure low that made our bottom. And we're going to see, here's your market structure low bottom, and we're going to find out if that's the bottom that ultimately holds or not. This is long, the market structure low is long. There's a scalper's gold long here at 85.78, but you see the trend is still red here, which means that it's short. The trend is still short. So it's unless we see that trend change when the price hits 85.78 and go neutral, we're not going to take that long trade on the monthly, but rather wait for the trend to change and then trade off that. But the monthly resistance now is pretty close to the weekly now. It's at 91.83. It was around 9,200. It's come down a little bit here. So still just under 9,200. And if things break to the upside, ultimately, this is where they've got to get back up to this area to have a shot at basing above it and then continuing further. So that'll be a big area. If they can't base above here, they can't eventually push up here and base above that, then we'll probably get some type of market structure high form on the weekly, and that will trigger short, and probably they're going to end up testing the lows, so we'll see. So that's kind of, again, we've been going over this a lot here lately each week. Just going to bring in the 1 minute chart. This is from Friday. Now Friday was the last trading day of the month, and the last trading day of the month or the last trading day of a quarter is typically not very productive, and if it's one of those days that you probably want to make, you want to scratch off and put that as part of your trading plan, that you don't trade on the last day of a month or the last day of a quarter, because typically the action is not conducive for day trading. And it was pretty much the case on Friday, but I'm just going to show you, this is the reason the Scalper's Gold program, you got to have something that's set up to keep your losses small relative to your potential winners. So it was behind the 8 ball all day. You can see a lot of this action is kind of choppy here. There's nothing going anywhere, and finally the last trade of the day, you get a long signal here at 84.01. Trend was already long, and that went for 100 points from entry to close. Actually went for like 130 points from entry to close. And you made your day on that one trade. But that's how it can be. You can have, I think at that point 1 minute was down about 40 points or something, and then you hit the one trade that makes your day. But that's the way it goes with when you're waiting for that move to break out. Either it happens or it doesn't. Well, it finally did get a move that saved your day on Friday, and that's what the Scalper's Gold will do. You can see it got you in before the trend became apparent right in here. It started to move higher, pulled back. Here we got our first stop here where this red dot is. That wasn't hit, and it continued to move higher. And this just told you to stay long. The scalper line told you to stay long all the way into the close. So that's what the Scalper's Gold. So you need a program. Once you get into a trade, it's easy to get in entry once you get in, but then you need some kind of system to help you to decide whether or not you're going to be able to stay in this trade or when to exit. Anyway, keep your losses short and let your winners run. That's the key, and we'll see you back here next week.